Hi. Hello everyone, it is me. I'm back again. This is my YouTube channel, so that shouldn't really shock anybody, but here we are. I just sat here for like 6 minutes and tried to intro this video, and then I got to a point I was in the middle of talking and I was like, I actually have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about right now. I was like, we need to just start over. So here I am again. I wanted the focus of this video today to be about life outside of social media. And this stemmed from me starting to take a social media break, a detox if you will, a couple weeks ago now. I think it has been 2 full weeks at this point where I have severely limited myself from social media apps, specifically Instagram and TikTok, because those are the ones that my fingers have muscle memory for. Like, I'll turn my phone on and my finger automatically goes to where those 2 specific apps are. I can scroll mindlessly on those all day, and I have, and that's why we're here. Okay, this has been an intervention for me, and I mean that completely dead ass serious. I was getting to the point with social media where I felt completely detached from reality. The best way that I can explain this is that scene in Twilight where Bella is sitting in the chair and all the seasons are happening outside the window while she's just still sitting in the chair. That is exactly to a T how I felt with social media. I felt like I had no concept of what was real anymore, and like what was going on in the physical real world, like things that I can touch, see, smell in this world. I wasn't even paying attention to any of that because I felt like my entire world was what was on my phone. I knew that I had a problem. I've known that I've had a problem for a while, and I know that that's a thing that a lot of people do these days, and people are like, oh haha, like I mindlessly scrolled for 4 hours yesterday, and it's like, okay, but is that funny? And it's made me take a serious pause with my relationship with social media. Now, obviously, this coming from somebody who makes money on social media, it's an interesting conversation to have. Let me just say, I don't consider YouTube and Pinterest social media, so they were not a part of this detox for me. YouTube to me is just more entertainment, little TV shows, little series that people make of their own lives. And I love YouTube. I only subscribe to people and watch videos that make me happy, inspire me, make me feel positive, uplift me. So I have a healthy relationship with watching YouTube videos. Those 2 apps don't count. They're not a problem for me. My 2 apps that I have the biggest issue with are Instagram and TikTok. Sorry, I had to change my battery. It was dying. As a social media creator who is coming on here and saying social media has absolutely been horrible for me and has made me feel like shit, has made me detach from reality, my usage of it has become extremely toxic and addictive. I understand the irony of somebody like me saying that, but at the same time, I'm still a human being who's just as susceptible to social media misuse, toxic relationship with it, social media addiction as anybody else. Hi Charlie, thank you for joining. I have been getting more and more sucked in probably over the last like 2 years on social media, and I'll take a little break here and there. Like, I'll go off for like a couple days or a week or whatever, but then I'm not actually doing anything during that break to maybe get better habits, or like next time I go on social media, keep things in mind or try to change my usage at all. It's just kind of stopping for a period and then getting right back into the exact same habits that led me to need the detox break, whatever, in the first place. And that's where I've been going wrong, because I keep doing the same thing over and over again, changing nothing and expecting a different result. So when I got to this point a couple weeks ago, I was like, what is the point of this? What am I doing? Nothing feels real. I felt like I was watching myself live life and not living life through my own body and through my own eyes and experiencing it myself. Like, I feel like I was observing myself experiencing life, but I wasn't even fully experiencing it because most of what consumed my thoughts was what I saw on my phone, not what I was seeing and experiencing and doing in the real world. If I continue down this path, if I keep living the same way that I'm living right now, I am going to waste my entire life. I've wasted so much time in my 20s with my head buried in my phone, worried more about what's going on my phone, whether or not it even has anything to do with me, than experiencing life in the world. I have really sat and thought about a lot these last couple weeks. I've been thinking about legitimately the meaning of life, and it sounds like this shouldn't be as big of an issue as it is because, oh, it's just social media, but no, it is actually that serious. I need to learn now how to manage my relationship and my consumption of social media. And you know what? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I would bet on at least one of you watching this nodding your head right now. I have used social media as a distraction from what's going on in real life. Like if I don't want to deal with something, or think about something hard, I just will go and mindlessly scroll. And social media also is not all bad. There is so much on social media and creators that are so positive, and there's so much uplifting, inspiring content. I get inspired by people on social media, videos people post. I found so many amazing pieces of advice, creativity tips, creators, inspiration, mindset shifts. Like, there's so much good on social media, and I think that's what's kind of kept me going back, and it is what will keep me going back, because I'm still going to use social media. It becomes very blurry, the line between that and stuff that's actually really damaging. And again, I feel like things like this are kind of downplayed because it's just social media, it's just a little TikTok, like but it's not though. I could write a thesis on this. I just have seen a startling lack of empathy, lack of understanding for other human beings. It just feels like people are so mean and critical of others behind a screen, not realizing that the person that they're commenting to or talking about or talking to is another human being. Like, I just feel like in general we've lost the plot. There's a literacy crisis among our youth. I sound like one of those adults that's like, oh, it's those damn phones, but it is those damn phones, and it's really scary. I can't fix all of those problems. I can't even propose a solution. I have no idea what to do about that, but the one person that I can control is myself. As Mel Robbins states time and time again in her book, The Let Them Theory, which I've been reading over the last couple weeks. So that's what I've decided to do. I've been off of social media for the most part for the last like 2 weeks or so. I plan on going back. I want to continue making content because I want to be a source of inspiration or positivity, or like somebody, the types of people that I just mentioned, that when I go on social media I feel good and uplifted and inspired. I want to be one of those people. Like, I want to be someone who puts that type of energy out there on the internet, in a world where so much of what is put on the internet is so negative and damaging. You have to be the light that you want to see. I mean, that's literally one of the most quoted statements of all time, but you know, it is true. Like, if you want to see positivity somewhere, you have to be that. You can't just expect everybody else to do it. You can control yourself. You can control how you show up in the world and for other people. And specifically, I have been focusing on how I show up for myself. These last couple weeks, I did journal about this for the first couple days, and then I forgot that I was doing this and I fell off, but I did. The first 2 days specifically, I kept a detailed account of how I felt. I'm just gonna read you some of the notes. The first day that I started this was February 5th. Today when I'm recording this, it's February 18th. This whole time, no Instagram or TikTok. I kept clicking on the TikTok app because muscle memory, anytime I wanted to be distracted. I got bored a lot and very easily. I watched a lot of YouTube on the first day because I was literally so bored and I wanted to think about anything else, I guess. Like, I just have realized that I can't do anything in silence. I can't do anything without paying attention to something else at the same time. Like, it's so difficult for my brain to be entertained by only one thing, which is a problem. I filmed half a video this day. I organized my closet. That felt really good. I cooked a 3-course dinner which was a new recipe, which felt really good. I felt anxious about what was going on online that I didn't know about. I kept thinking of things I could post on my Instagram story. I woke up with anxiety this day. Felt like I did more than I would have if I had social media. The day felt longer, and my screen time was 8 hours and 12 minutes. And the two biggest categories were YouTube and messages. Like I said, I watched a shit ton of YouTube this day. I was cleaning out my closet, so I was just watching YouTube videos kind of as I was doing that, because honestly, if not, I would have been so bored, and it made it more fun, so I don't even fault myself for that. Then I like FaceTime my mom, so there was a lot of screen time, but it wasn't like I was just sitting in front of my screen the whole time not doing anything else. Like, I had my phone playing a YouTube video and I was kind of like popping in and out of like looking at it, you know what I mean, and doing something else. Biggest takeaways from this: the day felt longer. I was actually living in the real world for more of the day, rather than maybe doing stuff in my space that I need to do for a few hours and then spending 5 fucking hours scrolling through what other people are doing and forgetting that I have my actual own life that I need to take care of. But I did a lot this day. I felt really proud of how productive I felt, things that I got done, and I felt like the day was longer, which was all good things. Okay, day 2. This is the second and last day that I've journaled. So February 6th, I woke up with so much anxiety this day. Took a workout class, which helped with that. So started the day with anxiety, took the workout class, proved to myself I could do it. Got some endorphins flowing, which was good. I kept clicking on the TikTok app out of muscle memory, but closed it right away every time, which was a win. I kept feeling restless and like I needed to distract myself even while watching TV. Realizing how short my attention span has really gotten and how my mind always wants to be multitasking can never put my full energy or focus into just one thing. Going out into the real world and socializing with people is helping. I saw a friend in my workout class and we talked. That was nice. I just get bored so easily and the urge to mindlessly scroll. I truly feel like I'm experiencing withdrawal. Screen time this day was 2 hours and 54 minutes, which might be a record. I wrote wow next to that because that was impressive. The biggest chunk was messages. So just texting with my family and friends. I probably called my mom again this day. I called her pretty much every day. And that's about where I ended the journaling, because after this, it got gradually easier. I found myself not even actually giving a fuck what was going on social media. I would get on there. I got on there when the Super Bowl day was happening. I didn't even scroll through anyone's posts on social media or TikTok. Like, I gave myself permission to use social media that day, but I still didn't really. Like, I met up with friends who were in town visiting. I went and spent time with my family at my cousin's house, hung out with them, watched the game with them. So I wasn't really on my phone much anyway. But even the one day that I gave myself permission to go on, I just had no desire because I had spent the last few days without it. And at first it was hard, as I just detailed in my journal, but I feel so much more positive. I feel like I have been seeking out content from podcasts and books and YouTube videos from people who inspire me, and really trying to think more about my own life rather than spending all of my time and energy consuming everybody else's lives and forgetting that my own is happening around me. I think last week in total as a whole was one of the best weeks I have had mentally, emotionally. Like, my morale was high. I feel like it's because I spent little to no time on social media. I did go on Monday, as I said, because it was the day after the Super Bowl. I had to see all the good videos. I was so excited. But other than that, like, I wasn't scrolling. I wasn't consuming content that made me feel negative. I was living in the real world and consuming books. As I said, I've been listening to the Mel Robbins podcast a lot because I am almost finished up with her book, The Let Them Theory. I guess we can get into kind of what I've been doing in the time that I would have been scrolling on social media, like how I've been spending free time and choosing to intentionally spend free time. I think that's really the difference, is intentionality. I have spent the last couple weeks being so much more intentional with my time because I know that I'm not going to allow myself to be on social media. So I'm like, okay, what do I want to do then in place of that? And the answers have been a lot of reading. I finished a book. I've been reading The Let Them Theory. I just started another book. I actually have another book that I'm working on too. Like, I'm reading a lot and reading nonfiction, which is interesting for me because I feel like when I get on reading kicks like this, it's usually fiction and I'm just eating up stories, which I did do the other day. I read an entire book in one day because it was a thriller and it was so good. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but I'll put it on the screen. It was so good. It's by Riley Sager, who's one of my favorite thriller authors. I have been really enjoying nonfiction lately, reading about real life shit, real people, real stories, examples, thinking about them deeply and thinking about them in the context of my own life, thinking about the lessons that can be taken from somebody else's story, even if it has nothing to do with me. It's not even the same whatsoever to my life circumstances. There's always a sameness in these stories because we're all human beings. We all experience the same emotions, just in different ways. You can always find a kernel of information or a perspective in somebody else's experience that you can strip to its core and apply to your own life. And that is what I have been thoughtfully doing the last couple weeks. And let me tell you, I feel like I can fucking breathe. I feel like I'm breathing fresh air after having breathed like polluted air. Let me actually switch locations and go to my reading nook so we can talk a little bit more about that. I'm probably gonna have to cut the shit out of this entire segment of me talking because I didn't really plan on this video being a sit down video, and it's not. Like, I have other things that I want to do, but I just feel like I had so much I wanted to say. So why am I even, this is the thing, like, I'm worrying about how other people are going to perceive what I post and what I say and do. It's like, oh, what if people get bored? I don't want to bore people. But it's like, if they get bored, let them be bored. Let me continue talking about what I want to talk about on my channel, sharing my thoughts, and the people who give a fuck will watch and people who don't won't. Like, it's like, I can't control how other people are going to feel. Why would I limit myself? Why would I cut what I want to say to appease people when I don't even know what anyone's thinking, let alone why should I care? Like, I'm posting this because I want to share, and the people who resonate will resonate. And if you don't, like, that's fine. There's nothing I can do about that. The only thing that I can control is myself. Okay, as I just said, I've been reading the Let Them theory. If you couldn't tell by that exchange I just had with myself. I'm almost done this book. I'm on the very last chapter, which is about relationships. So I had to take a pause because it's a sore subject for me. As somebody who's been single for a lot of years. Everybody else is making progress. I've been comparing myself a lot. That's another thing. Like on social media, it feels like everybody's in a fucking relationship. Everybody's happy. And I have just been comparing myself and I'm like, well, it's never gonna be my turn. Everybody else has this figured out. Everyone else is ahead of me. And it's like, dude, nobody's ahead of you. It doesn't fucking matter. Your life is not their life. We're on completely different timelines. Oh my god, like who cares? Anywho, I just feel like I've really been taking this book to heart lately. Not just reading the words on the page, but digesting them. I've really been taking my time to commit these things to memory, to really understand them, to apply them to my own life. And it has changed the way that I've read this book. So I really recommend, especially with like a nonfiction sort of book. I mean, even with fiction, like you could be reading about fictional characters who are half human, half fae, but every book is written by a human. So there's elements of the human experience in every character, whether they're human or not. I used to think that I was maybe silly or like, oh, you can't relate to these literal fae. But then I'm like, yes, I can, because the author is a human and they're infusing humanness into these characters. And even if this isn't a real scenario, you can still learn from a character or a scenario or a situation. I've limited myself subconsciously from doing so much, from thinking in so many different ways, from trying things because of the opinions of other people. Again, whether they know me or not, whether I know them or not, whether the opinion was even said to me or not, or I just saw it somewhere and it kind of embedded itself in my mind, in the back of my mind, and it rears its ugly head sometimes when I don't ask for its opinion. It's just kind of there. I don't need to be consuming the opinions of all these strangers all the time. So I'm almost done that book. I just started this one last night. Incredibly recommended book. My cousin bought this for me for Christmas, which I'm so glad she did. She said she loved this book. This is Tiny Beautiful Things by Cheryl Strayed. I'm on page 42. I already cried. I started it last night. Cried within the first probably 30 pages. I am so excited to continue reading this book. I don't even know how to explain it. Just the perspectives from reading the stories of other people, reading perspectives of other people and their stories, even if they have nothing to do with me, I can take so much of what they say and what they experience and what they learn from it and use that not only to apply to my own life, but to broaden my understanding of the human experience, which is incredibly powerful. I have had all of these deeper thoughts lately in the last couple weeks, and I've thought more about my own life and my purpose and all of that kind of deeper stuff. I've thought about that more in the last couple weeks than I have probably in fucking years, because I've allowed myself to, and I'm doing so without the outside conversation of what everybody else is doing and thinking about and talking about. I got to a point where I was caring more about the opinions of people who don't know me than the opinions of the people who do, and the people who I interact with on a daily basis at this time in my life, at the age of almost 26 in the year 2025. I am blessed to have people, real people in my actual physical life that maybe I see all the time, like family and friends here, or who live in other places, but people nonetheless. I have connections with other people. Those people love me. I love them. I spend time with them. They see me. They choose me. And I do this as a job. Being on social media and being a creator and the fact that that's my livelihood, it's very easy to get caught up in people's perception of you. It makes sense. Like, I'm not faulting myself for that, because, you know, if nobody cared, nobody watched, like, I'd be out of a job. Granted, I do have a college degree, so I have options. I have skills. I'm smart. I could get another job. But I really enjoy doing what I do, and I enjoy creating, and I enjoy posting for the people who also enjoy me. It's so easy to get caught up in what all these people think of you and forget about what the people in your life think about you, and more importantly, what I think of myself. And I've come to the realization before my social media break, I know who I am. I am so confident in that. And even saying that is huge for me, because there are a lot of times in my life where I wouldn't be able to say that. I don't even know if ever in my life I have been as sure of myself as I am right now. I'm controlling what I can control. I'm just doing my best. I'm learning. I'm growing, just like every other human being on this planet. And I have people in my life who I love, who love me. But then there are people on social media who don't know me. And this is true with anybody who ever posts anything on social media ever. There are gonna be people who don't know you, who think that they do. And then when I'm reading those things too much, I'm like, wait, what is the truth? I'm like, am I wrong about myself? Are all the people in my life wrong about me? Is this person saying something that I don't know about myself? But then I have to sit myself down and I'm like, bitch, what? What? That doesn't even make any sense. But that's just how caught up in social media I have been that I'm like questioning my own reality. This should be required reading. That's all I have to say. This book should be required reading. I just want to take my life back. I'm ready to take my life back, my time, my energy. Right, Charlie? Charlie doesn't know what social media is. That's so creepy. I haven't actually sat on this stool yet, so I hope my craftsmanship was good enough. Oh, God bless. Okay. I don't know what I expected to happen, but I bought this table, as you can see here, from Amazon. My intention with this is to make this my craft table. So this is now my craft area. I mean, I just love it. I'm sorry. I've had this. Why am I sorry? I'm not sorry. I got this months ago. This is what I call my hobby hutch. I know this isn't actually a hutch. It houses all of my craft supplies, all my DIY stuff, and it just brings me so much joy. The fact that I have enough space in this place to make a space like this dedicated to DIYs, crafts, creativity makes me so happy. I can't even explain. I decided I wanted to get a table specifically for crafting. I have multiple other services. I could craft on my countertop or I could on my coffee table, my desk, but I don't know. I just wanted to have one specific surface meant for crafting. And also, obviously, I can pull this out and use it if I ever need additional seating. And it compacts itself. It has wheels. I can just roll it into the corner, so it's not like it doesn't have to sit out like this all the time. So I've been spending the last month and a half probably now really trying to get my apartment together. This is a rental. It's not like I'm gonna be living here forever. So if I want the place to feel finished, I have to finish it. Nobody else is gonna come in and do that for me. One of the spaces that I have wanted to have in this place and that I've wanted to create is a space dedicated to doing fun crafts and stuff. And today, you and I, we're kind of doing it together, I guess, through the screen. I guess you could also be crafting while watching this if you wanted to. So, you know, maybe pull out a craft and craft along with me if you want. I am gonna use this space. I'm gonna use my new craft area and I'm just gonna get into it, okay? Did I mention this in the first part? I don't remember. If I didn't, then I'll tell you now. If I did, I might cut this out. I don't know. I was listening to a Mel Robbins podcast. She was talking about how anxiety and stress inhibit your creativity and you like feel less creative, less creatively inclined when you're experiencing a period of high stress or anxiety. And she wondered out loud if the opposite could also be true. If creativity could quiet anxiety and stress. And she found that it could. I honestly feel the same way. I've experienced that in my own life. I love to have a project to work on, especially something that I'm not just thinking about, but I'm actually making with my hands. I've been cooking a lot more lately. That's something that is a creative process. Even if you don't think you're a creative person, just by being a human being, you are practicing creativity every single day in little ways in your life that you may not even realize or consider creative. I've been cooking more, you know, doing things with my hands. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I wasn't spiraling while I was doing that. I was focusing on what I needed to do. I was cutting stuff up. I was stirring, whatever. So there is merit to this. It's been a while since I've just sat and allowed myself to be creative with no requirements. I guess this is kind of a requirement, like I'm filming it, but I'm gonna pretend like I'm not and just take as much time as I want to just do whatever the hell I want. So I think a really important part of trying to be better about my social media habits, and especially in this period right now of me being off of social media, I want to fill that time that I was just mindlessly scrolling, whatever time is left over from me actually doing productive things that I was putting off by mindlessly scrolling, whatever free time is left, I should say, I want to fill with actual hobbies in the real world that make me happy and don't require my phone. And I love DIYs. I always have. I've always been a crafty kid. To this day, it's just one of my favorite things to do, to create something. Obviously, I'm a YouTuber, so I love to create. I have a 5-pound bucket of air dry clay, and I'm gonna craft now. Water. I've had some ideas, and I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just do it? Why don't I just sit here? I just set up, speaking of trying to set up spaces and make my space work for me. My cousin came over last weekend and so graciously hung my TV that I bought. The one that I had in New York was like 43 inches, I think, or so. I just had it sitting on my dresser, but I decided to upgrade because I have a bigger space. The TV that I had felt too small for the space. I found one that was on sale at Best Buy. I got it. I think it's like 65 inches or so. It's fucking huge. Like, I feel like I have a movie theater in my apartment, and it's amazing. I got it mounted on the wall, courtesy of my cousin, as I said. Shout out to Nick, God bless. You can pull it out and kind of swivel it. So I have it facing this right now, so I can turn it to where I could see it while I'm in the kitchen. It is just so awesome. I'm seriously having the best time with it. So I could turn on a movie, a video, whatever. The place is just coming together and it's making me so happy. And all the mental space I've freed up the last few weeks has allowed me to get a lot of stuff done. So the next part of this, I guess, is doing a hobby, doing something with my hands, focusing on that, building something, creating something out of like a lump of clay, making it something that I have a vision for, and just owning that whole process, and also allowing myself to do so without expectation, without perfectionist tendencies, just for fun. So let's get it going. This is so cute. Update on my first craft of the day. I think I did such a great job. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I decided to do a little palette, and I got this gloss varnish to put on them. I believe this is supposed to be like water resistant. I really hope so, because if not, then there's literally no point in that whole thing that I just did, because I won't be able to clean it, which, like, you know, I want to reuse it. Protects your finished work from UV damage, dirt, and dust. Oops, so not water. Maybe I should find a waterproof one. That's a simple fix. Why did I even, okay, I'll find a waterproof one. But I did get that one. I know that air dry clay stuff is not food safe, so I'm not making any like plates or bowls or cups or anything like that. I want to make magnets like everybody else on the internet. I think they're so freaking cute. I want to make match holders. I think that's what I want to do next. I feel like I did such a great job on that one, and I feel empowered now, and like I learned something, and I'm getting better at playing with my clay. I just love playtime. This is so much fun. I changed into a t-shirt also. I was not trying to get my Skims sweat set full of clay. Also, I cleaned up from the first one. I just wiped down my tabletop with a paper towel with water on it, and it came off just fine. Kind of cleaning up my brushes right now, getting the clay off. I have so much clay still. Like a 5-pound bucket of air dry clay actually is, I mean, 5 pounds sounds like a lot of clay, and it is. Did I think about anything at all that whole time besides what I was doing? No, I didn't. And I didn't even have to tell myself not to think about anything. I just didn't. I've been watching Hannah Atkins' YouTube videos also on my TV, and it's just adding to this very peaceful and serene ambiance I've got going on right now. I'm having so much fun. I'm just so tickled right now. Can't wait to see how that dries. I transferred it to a dry, clean piece of parchment paper because I don't really know what else to dry it on. I'm so excited and I want to keep going, and I think next I want to make a ceramic matchbox. So I need to grab an actual matchbox. I have an idea of how big I wanna like cut out the pieces. I'm gonna make one part for the casing, I guess, of the match. And then I'm gonna make a little pull-out drawer thing. All right, I'm gonna wash off my tools and get started on my second project. It is a new day and I wanted to check in on my clay creations. I do have a couple of updates. I had to make a new tray for my matchbox thing because the first one broke. This one, they keep bending. Hold on, let me show you. Well, first of all, here's the palette. I flipped it onto the other side so that it could maybe dry a little bit more evenly, but this is well on its way to being dry. Give it maybe another day or so. Like, it's not sitting level on the table, which is fine for this, but this one, okay, so this is the first tray that I made. Obviously it cracked. I don't think this was thick enough to hold it, I don't know. Then I made this second one. I tried a different method with this. Instead of making the square first and then adding the little walls, I just made a thicker slab and then dug out the middle. But again, it's like not straight on the ground. It fits to a point. If I push it in anymore, I feel like it's gonna get stuck since it's not straight on the ground. Especially if I'm gonna be adding paint and varnish onto these, which will make it a little bit thicker, I'm assuming, with a couple more layers. I don't know, but thank God this has held up. I put these in here to hold it up so it wouldn't cave in on itself. I had to wait to assemble this one. So this whole thing has taught me a few things, but above all, patience. I've had to be very patient, waiting for the parts to dry enough to where I could attach them still, but they wouldn't cave in on themselves. Obviously, air dry clay, you have to wait for it to air dry, so it does take some more time than if I would just use like a bake clay. I'm just learning patience and I'm learning new techniques of how to make stuff. Like just doing the slab and then digging out the middle, I feel like was so much easier than doing one flat piece and then adding the walls like I did with this one that ended up breaking. That's the same method that I used, as y'all saw when I made the palette. I just made this whole slab and then I dug out these little indents. But that's my update on that. I still obviously need to paint them, which I'm not gonna be able to show in this video since they're still not ready to be painted. But I really hope that this will still be able to fit in here. I'm still just learning. I have so much clay left and I'm excited to keep trying and keep making different things. This is just so fun and satisfying. And I love making things with my hands. Like just knowing that I created these things out of a ball of clay makes me so happy. So that's my update. Overall, it's going well and I'm excited to continue on. Yes. The third and final phase of this video is re-entering the real world. Getting back out there, leaving the house, touching grass, reminding myself that I am but a small part of the big wide world that is actually out there happening, not on my phone. While having a living space that is comfortable and that I love is one of the most important things to me, it is very, very easy for me to self-isolate. I could go days, probably weeks on end without leaving the house. And a lot of the time, especially if I'm gonna go do something by myself, I'm like, why would I wanna do that when I could just stay at home in the comfort of my own home and be cozy and safe and not have to get ready, not have to think about leaving the house, not have to encounter people, blah, blah, blah. But having that mindset and isolating myself and just sitting inside, looking at my own same four walls all the time, it kind of starts to make me feel the way that spending too much time on social media feels. Like nothing is real. I'm lonely, like I'm the only person in the whole world. So it is important to get outside, even if I'm going somewhere by myself. Honestly, especially if I'm going somewhere by myself, to prove to myself that I am just as valuable of company as a friend or somebody else would be. I can go out and do things by myself. I shouldn't wait for other people to want to go with me or to have time to go with me to experience my life. Just like with social media, spending my whole life watching somebody else live their lives, like I'm gonna spend my whole life waiting to live my own life, watching other people live their lives while I could just go out and do it. So all that to say, today I'm gonna take myself out on a date. It's a Friday night. I'm gonna go to a little bookstore that I've been meaning to go to. I wanted to just go and browse around. I like going to bookstores alone because I can just go look at whatever I want for however long I want. And then I'm gonna do what I think is the most intimidating thing to do by myself, which is go to dinner and get a table for one. I don't actually know if I'm gonna get a table because the place I'm going, it's an Italian place again that I've been meaning to try. I don't know if you can get a table for one. I might just be sitting at the bar, but you know what? The point is the same. Getting dinner by yourself for some reason just really intimidates me, and it makes me feel so awkward. I'm never really looking around. I feel like cataloging who's with who just when I'm in the general public. Like if I'm at the grocery store, I'm not looking at people walking by being like, oh, they're with their friend, oh, they're with their, I don't know, family, oh, they're with this other person. But like when I'm sitting at a restaurant alone, I become hyper aware of the fact that most other people there are there with another person or a group of people. I think going out to eat is just an innately social activity. Like I don't usually go out to eat by myself. I'll just cook here at home by myself. But if you can master going to a restaurant, sitting alone, having a meal alone, bringing a book, whatever, like just being comfortable doing that with your own company, you can do anything alone. I'm gonna go try a couple places that I've been meaning to try, and I always say, oh, I've been meaning to go there, but no one is gonna come and go for me. Like if I want to go to those places, I have to go myself. What am I waiting for? I feel like that's a common theme here is I feel like I've just been watching other people live their lives, telling myself I want to do a bunch of things with mine, and then not understanding the fact that in order for me to actually do those things that I say I want to do, I have to go. I'm getting ready. I feel like I am more excited to be out in the world and go out in public when I have a good face of makeup on. I don't get ready that often. If I have a good face of makeup on, I'm like, oh, I might as well go out. Yeah, I might as well leave the house. For obvious reasons, going out into the world is very important. It seems like such a small thing, and in the grand scheme of life it is, because ideally we would be going out into the world regularly, but it is winter, it's hibernation time, and I take that very seriously. So especially in the winter, I feel like people are really just kind of hunkering down, recharging. But it's sunny. It may be like 45 degrees, but it could be significantly worse. And the world is still happening out there. Like there's still places I want to go. Why the hell not? Why, you know, no time like the present. I don't have social media to scroll on all night. It's a perfectly good night. What else am I gonna do? It's comforting to just see other people living their lives, experiencing things, trying things, enjoying things, laughing in the real physical world in your community. There's so much more out there than what's on your phone. Actually, like life is happening outside my door in places that I can walk or drive to. And that's the life that I need to choose to immerse myself in. I also love remembering that I'm an adult who has free will, and I can completely go to a restaurant and order an entire calamari appetizer and eat the entire thing myself. I'm fully gonna do that, and it's gonna be amazing. This is what exerting free will means to me. I'm gonna finish getting ready and put an outfit on, and then we're gonna head out into the world. For one is an hour and a half. So I put my name in. I'm in their bathroom right now, but I'm gonna head back to King Street and just meander around until I get a text. I moved my car from the first parking garage I was in to one that's a little bit closer to the restaurant. It is 6:51. My estimated time is 7:30. Started to a Target haul. I'm not giving up. I want to go to this restaurant and I'm not giving up. I knew that I should have gone exactly at 5, but I was trying to be more laid back. I was telling myself that I didn't need to rush, like I could just take my time. You know, I knew better. Anyway, okay, so let's do a little haul. From the bookstore, I got this book. Did I need another book? Not really, but this sounded really good. I just read the inside cover. I haven't heard of it before, The Stolen Queen by Fiona Davis. So, it just sounded really interesting. Okay, now Target haul. I just got a bunch of random shit that I actually needed. I wanted to try a new melatonin. I've been using the Ollie Sleep. Lately, I've been having weird ass dreams and also I've just been really restless sleeping. So, I know I like this brand, Natrol melatonin. I'll probably, I don't know, 5 milligrams is a lot for me. I'm very sensitive to melatonin. And then I got contact solution, contact re-wetting eye drops, which I use to put my contacts in the morning also. What else do I have in here? Vaseline, a little mini one. My doctor, I told her about this weird situation I've been having on the corner of my mouth, and she said to just use Vaseline on my lips, as I have like a Tarte Maracuja Juicy lip on right now, which by the way, slays the house boots. My aunt got me a gift set of a bunch of them for Christmas, and God bless, because I'm obsessed with this. It's one of my favorite products Tarte makes. Anyway though, for just every day, little Vaseline mini lip thing. So I can keep that in my purse. You know what, I might as well just throw in my purse now. That's it for my haul, I think. I'm trying so hard to be chill. It's a Friday night. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I don't know what I was expecting. At least the girls at the hostess stand at the restaurant were really nice, and they complimented my jacket, which by the way is from Zara. Anywho, I brought my book to read with me, Tiny Beautiful Things by Cheryl Strayed. I am very early into this book. I'm on page like 42, 43-ish. Don't remember exactly where I stopped. I wanted to read this while enjoying a solo dinner, but when I went into the restaurant to put my name in approximately 55 minutes ago, it was still light outside, but it was really dark in there. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to see my book. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. I didn't know what the situation was gonna be. I haven't been here before. Figured I would sit here and just update you. I mean, I'm not gonna talk your ear off for the next 30 minutes while I wait. I'm just sitting here listening to music and playing New York Times games. In the meantime, I'm gonna continue playing the Spelling Bee. It's my favorite New York Times game. I tried today's, it was impossible. I was like, what even are these letters they're giving me right now? You know what though? I am so proud of myself that I didn't cave and just sit and scroll on TikTok, because I could do that. I'm doing nothing right now, but I've decided to stimulate my brain. You can't even see this. There you go. That's the Spelling Bee that I'm working on right now. I'll check in hopefully when I get my table or bar stool. I don't really know. I got a text. I'm on my way.